Guys, I'm out here at the Sonoma Raceway in California to do the press launch of Yamaha's newest motorcycle, their 2025 R9. Now, you guys have hyped this bike up as being the next level R6 replacement that everybody's been clamoring for. But those are huge shoes to fill. But I don't think I could be at a better place to find that out. In today's video, we're going to be spending all day here at Sonoma Raceway with the R9 on track to truly test its performance abilities. And I'm going to let you guys know what I think about it. And at the end of the video, maybe we'll have an idea of if this thing can actually replace the R6. You guys buckle up. Today's going to be awesome.
Before we hit the track, let's talk about what makes the R9 special. Yamaha didn't just slap fairings on the MT-09. They tuned the ECU for smoother power delivery, they changed the rear sprocket for higher top-end speed, and they built the lightest aluminum frame that they have ever put in a Supersport.
All right, so a couple notes, right? I am going to be taking this lap a little slower because obviously I'm going to be talking and that is very distracting. So I'm going to go a little slower than I have been just so I can stay focused and talk with you guys, because I want to make sure I handle everything that this bike is. And also something to keep in mind is this is going to be a track review. I have not spent any time on the street with this thing, can't speak to that. So what I'm telling you guys is what I'm experiencing here on the track. First off, the thing I was really worried about with this bike, to be honest, was coming out here and this bike being really twitchy like the MT-09 can be. It is a very punchy power plant, and I was worried the R9 was going to be too punchy in the power, but Yamaha has a different ECU in the R9 that dictates throttle response, and Yamaha has basically smoothed out the throttle response on this bike to where it handles like an I don't even know if you guys can hear me. This helmet is got so much wind flowing through it right now, but Yamaha's ECU that they put in the R9 really changes the power delivery, and it takes something that has a ton of horsepower and a ton of torque and makes it manageable, which is so freaking awesome, because I can get on this bike and I feel instantly comfortable to just go at it. So it says a lot for the comfort on it with how controllable the throttle is. So yeah, the throttle response has been beautiful. Yamaha's always done really good with their throttle response, so that wasn't something I was worried about. It was only because of the MT-09 that made me think that. So it's still super powerful, has plenty of power and plenty of pickup. It's actually got more usable power than something like an MT-09 because of the different gearing. One of the things that's different on the R9 versus the MT-09 is different gearing. A 1640, 5-tooth sprocket in the rear versus a 1643 sprocket. But yeah, different gearing on the R9 than the MT-09, and what that's going to do is give the R9 a higher top speed. It's going to prioritize higher speed performance, because let's be honest, who wants high speed performance on an MT-09? Like, no wind protection and you want high speed performance, that would be silly. All right, let's talk about something super important with a Supersport, and that is handling. So, Yamaha has a bespoke frame that they made for the R9. It is only made so far on the R9, and funny enough, it is the lightest aluminum frame Yamaha has ever made in a motorcycle. They showed me a photo that had all sorts of percentage data on its more rigid continuity and rotational, and bro, I do not have an education big enough to understand that. But here's what I'm really taking away from this, guys, to be honest. The R9 shows that Yamaha can take a awesome power plant, put the right modifications into it, and turn it into something fantastic. And what I'm specifically talking about with that is the confidence under braking. This has been the biggest deal for me in this entire press launch. And most of it is because I'm a pansy. Most of the time when I come to these press launches, I don't really love coming in hard to a turn and then laying on the brakes. I don't know if it's just because it's something I'm scared to do or what. But one of the things that the R9 has taught me is that, not taught me, but allowed me to realize is the stability that this bike has under a front load. So me pulling in on the front brake and all that suspension having to work, all that frame having to work to not bend and do whatever. I have never felt so confident and so able to come into a turn and be really hard on the brakes. There is something absolutely magical with this motorcycle, with the Brembo brakes, the steel braided brake lines, and the KYB suspension, and the frame. All of those things are working in absolute perfect harmony to allow a guy, like, I'm not a fast dude. I don't go to track days all the time. I don't spend a lot of time improving this skill. But the one thing I've noticed with myself today is that I'm feeling so much more comfortable coming into a turn and laying on the brakes because of how stable this motorcycle is. It's insane. But it just translates that confidence to the rider in a way that I don't know if I've experienced that before. So yeah, let's talk about the brakes a little more. Obviously, they're Brembo Stylemas. They're with steel braided brake lines, and that's going into a Brembo master cylinder. So you got the whole Brembo package. Man, the feel you get out of the brakes is fantastic, and that's one of the things that I think is leading me to feel so comfortable with laying on them, because I'm getting such a good feel. Obviously, they are strong and they bite, but I feel in control of these brakes every step of the way. God, it handles slowing down so good. It's absolutely incredible. So let's talk about acceleration and what you can expect out of the triple. I will say that in mode 2, power mode 2, in power mode 2, I do feel like the power is a little slow to come on, but part of me is like, do I want it to come on harder, or do I want the confidence in it smoothly coming on? I don't really know what I want there, but you know what? I'll wait till the last turn, and then there's a straight, and I'll show you guys what I mean. While we're waiting on that, we can talk about the quick shifter, which is a literal dream. I couldn't ask for a better quick shifter. I can be in mid-turn. I can be in mid-turn really pushing it, and that quick shifter is so smooth, no disruption to the motorcycle whatsoever. It has been impressive. Nothing I'm really surprised with Yamaha, but again, starting with an MT-09 engine, I was like, you know, this bike has to take a wild animal and refine it into something that can be used with precision. And if that was the goal, that is what was done. All right, we're going up to turn 1. I'll show you guys what I mean about the power. This turn is the slowest turn. I'm going to go all the way down into first, and you guys watch how long the power takes to come on. Full throttle right there. You see how it has to like rev into it? Now, for a Supersport, that's nothing, because a Supersport, you'd have to rev way more into it than that. But there is a little spot where I wish the power would come on a little sooner. But that's only in certain situations, because everywhere else the bike feels fantastic. So it would be a thing of, do you want to sacrifice it from somewhere else to have it there? And I don't know what the answer to that is. So I know there's going to be some people looking at the rider triangle, and it might seem like this bike is not as sporty as something like an R6. I'm almost scared to even talk about the R6 at this launch. But I know a lot of people are going to be like, you're going to be crunched up on that. It's not really going to work for fast technical riding, but that could not be farther from the truth. I have been very comfortable on this bike all day long. Have been in my track suit. This is a serious track, by the way. Sonoma Raceway. Definitely a track you need to check out. Holy shit. Super cool. Anyway, I've been super comfortable on it. I am having no problems getting off the bike and going from side to side, which is definitely something I personally look for in an R-Series motorcycle. If an R-Series bike doesn't allow me to easily get around the bike, I'm like, I don't like that. But this definitely has that R DNA when it comes to body position. Also, the bike has an incredible amount of rider aids, and at my skill level, you guys can base if I'm a similar skill level to you or whatnot, but at my skill level, I haven't had any issues with the rider aids, like the traction control messing up what I'm doing or anything like that. Hard braking to get slowed down there. And the bike is incredibly composed. Now, I don't know about some of these other faster people. The rider aids could be messing them up, but not I, says me. That turn right there is the only time I've ever experienced wanting a little more top end out of second gear. Obviously that's track dependent, but a couple of the gears, I do wish a couple of the gears were a little taller. I just want to be able to rev it out a little more, and I'm not wanting much more, so I'm going to write that off as that's a this track specific situation. It's like, you know, you find that perfect spot where you're like, oh, I need a little more. Just give me like 2,000 more RPMs. Overall, I feel like for the body position, Yamaha did an impressive job creating a motorcycle that's built for the road, but you can put this thing on a track and do everything you could possibly want with it. It's kind of weird. I ride this bike all day here at this track, this phenomenal, beautiful track, this beautiful day. And the only thing I'm thinking about is, okay, cool, this is amazing in these perfect conditions, but what happens when I take this thing to the road where this thing was designed to be? I think that's going to be super interesting. So the other thing we can talk about, something I haven't used a ton because of the camera that you guys are looking at right there, is that screen. But Yamaha did put a really big TFT screen on here. It is nice, it works really well. So I'm totally down with the screen. It's nothing crazy, but the only thing that's kind of weird about it is that there's a lot of space on the sides. So if I look over, you guys can see there's a lot of black area on the screen. I kind of wish that was utilized more. You know, it's probably them just trying to get this screen fit into this body. So there's that. But I kind of wish it didn't have so much, what is that, chamfered edges or I don't know. Technical terms. Yamaha also has a built-in app that you can connect with the bike to do phone calls and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care. I think it's neat as an option, but if I bought this bike, I would never use it. But one of the cool things that you can do with this bike is use this app called, what is it called? I'll put it on the screen right now. It basically uses the data that the bike is already capturing with the GPS, and you can get like F1 style data of a track day that you go to. And that kind of stuff is so damn cool. If you want to be one of those guys that constantly gets your lap times better and better and better, that app would be sick with this bike. You would have more data than you know what to do with. Alright, so let's talk about the price of this bike. You get all of this, the beautiful CP3, an incredible IMU with more rider aids than you'll ever need. You have the ability to download a free app and get lap times and lap data. You get the KYB adjustable suspension. You get the Brembo monoblocks with the steel braided lines, the Brembo master cylinder, the amazing package for $12,500. Yamaha did their whole press introduction earlier last night when we were having dinner. And apparently one of the things Yamaha is doing is really focusing on bringing value for the money that you pay for bikes. There was this chart showing how expensive bikes are getting, which they definitely are. And then they were talking about how their goal for their new models is to just pack them with value for the customer. And I think one of the things they're really doing with like testing that out with is the R9. It's like, all right guys, let's throw everything at this bike, give people an amazing package for a price that actually makes sense, and let's see what happens. And I'm hopeful that the R9 does well. I have a feeling it will, because that could start this like revolution in the motorcycle industry of, hey, give us bikes that are actually valuable, that deliver a lot of value to us as the rider. That's my hope anyway. So guys, after an entire day on the track, what do I feel about the R9? You know, it has probably been one of the most excited I've been for a motorcycle, because it gives me, like personally me, everything I'm looking for in a super sport bike for a price that totally makes sense, that I could actually afford if I wanted to. So yeah guys, in summary, this is one of those harder press launches, because normally if a bike has a problem, that actually makes my job easier because I can really highlight that problem. But with the R9, at least here on the track, I love everything about this bike for this situation. So if anything, what I learned is Yamaha puts on a good press launch because they know the bike, they know the people they're inviting out, they know we're gonna have an amazing time with this thing at this track. But what I'm super curious about is, what is this thing gonna be like when I get on the street with it? Because a bike can be fantastic on a racetrack, and then you get it to the street and it's absolutely You guys know what bike I'm talking about. The R6, let's just say it. The R6 is absolute trash on the road. It is not comfortable. Its power band does not work for street riding. It is just not a good, street bike. You put that thing on a track and then your eyes open up and you're like, oh, I understand. You understand why it sucks at all that other stuff. I have faith that Yamaha did not make that same mistake here with the R9. I have a feeling that once I get this thing on the street, I get to ride it around Atlanta. I think that'll be the true test. Can Yamaha make a bike just phenomenal on a racetrack, but then more accessible on the street? There's a lot of things that this bike has done to allow for that, and that don't really matter for the track, like cooling from the engine gets piped under the motorcycle so it doesn't go to the rider, so that you don't get hot while you're going red light to red light. You know what I mean? Like tiny little like that has been done on this bike, but because I'm not on a street right now, I don't want to comment on it because it doesn't matter, and I'm not there to test it. I'm not able to be on the road. So I think what I'm taking from this video, guys, is Yamaha has made a phenomenal track bike, but the big question remains, and will that translate to the road? I think I'm gonna need more time on this bike to really find that out. And more importantly, I need more time with it on city streets, because city streets are actually kind of similar to this bullshit, but they're not perfect like you're looking at. I don't get to go as fast as I want. I have to get stuck at red lights and all that kind of stuff. So I think I need an episode 2 of figuring out the R9. Luckily, you guys know Yamaha are homies. I have faith that whenever available, they'll get me an R9, and we can get this thing on the Atlanta streets, and we can see how it does there. We could commute with it. We can do all that. So the main question of, did Yamaha make the best Supersport that can actually ride on the street? The answer to that is to be continued. But for the question of, did Yamaha make an absolutely amazing Supersport for the everyday guy who can drag me around Sonoma Raceway and have the best freaking day? The answer to that is undeniably yes. I don't think there's a single motorcycle that would have been more fun to do this on for a guy at my skill level. I don't know where you guys are in your individual motorcycling journey or what you're looking to do, but if you guys find yourself agreeing with a lot of the stuff I'm saying and like riding like I think you guys are going to have an absolute time on this thing. It has been so freaking enjoyable. Oh yeah, here at the end of the video, I need to do a big shout out to Alpine Stars. They got me the SuperTech R10, the helmet I'm wearing right now. Literally unboxed it to bring into this press launch. So Alpine Stars, big shout out. It's been very fun to ride in nothing but Alpine Stars today. All right, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy motorcycle content, because we make a lot of it. And let me know your thoughts on the R9. And do me a favor. In the comments, let me know if you want a street review, because if Yamaha sees enough of them, we might get one to ride on the street. So you guys let Yamaha know in the comments down below. I'll see you on the next one. Later. Oh my God, I can stop talking and just ride.